Hello everyone and welcome back to Georgia Paper Crafts. Today I am making 10 cards from the limited edition Simon Says Stamptember card kit. And I already did an unboxing video. It went along with the September, or it was October unboxing video. And so I'm just getting right into making the cards here. So I'm starting with the stamp set and I'm using the rainbow die here. Not die, rainbow stamp. And you have each layer that you can stamp individually. So I decided I wanted to stamp each layer individually and then coat them with some embossing powder. So here, doing the top layer with some red. This is red, I think a red from Ranger. I'll have all the specific colors listed down below. Put it back in my Misty, and I'm using my creative corners to help me get it centered every time. I'm going to take the next layer, put it in there, stamp it using some clear embossing ink. I usually either use the Versamark or the Simon Says Stamp Clear embossing ink. And I'm going to coat this with some green glitter embossing powder. I'll go ahead and get that heated up and then move on to the next layer. The next layer is going to be a glittery blue embossing powder. And again, I don't remember where this is from, and I'm sorry I didn't write it down, but I will absolutely have it in the description box below. This is a really pretty color. Get that heated up. And the last color, I decided to use the Lawn Fawn embossing powder, and it's kind of like a peachy color. I don't remember the exact name, but I will, again, list it below. I like how that turned out, all the different colors. They just fit wonderfully. Now I'm going to take some of the cloud stamps, stamp them out with some clear embossing ink, and use some of the silver embossing powder. I believe I got this in one of the kits a while back. I don't remember exactly when, but I don't think it has a name, as I think it, like I say, it was just a little container that came in one of the kits. I'll get that heated up and cut out. Once I have the clouds cut out, I'll go ahead and kind of place them below the rainbow, kind of see how I like it. And I pulled in that pattern paper there because initially I thought I would back it with that, but what I realized was that it was a little bit too busy, so I went ahead and put that to the side, and I took a piece of the green pattern paper and I cut a frame using my MFT frame die out of that. I'm going to go ahead and adhere that to the card base. Again, all my card bases I make ahead of time, and they are A2 size card bases, just made from some heavyweight white cardstock from my stash. And at the beginning, or not at the beginning, but just a few minutes ago, you probably noticed that I stamped out a sentiment. This is the sentiment that says, "Happiest birthday to you." And I put that on a piece of paper that I cut diagonally on the side there, just to give it a little bit of interest. Adding some adhesive, and I'm going to go ahead and adhere my rainbow piece right in the middle there. Take my sentiment and pop it up with some foam tape. Now go ahead and adhere that onto the front of the card, right in between the clouds. And I'll go ahead and bring in some of these confetti, confetti, I guess it's called confetti, confetti, different rainbow confetti embellishment drops here. And I'll just add a bunch of different color ones around. once I get my glue to work, that is. There we go. And that's it for this card. And here's a still photo. I really like the way this one turned out. All right, now moving on to card number 2. My initial idea was to take this happy birthday stamp and stamp it along this paper. This is Bristol Smooth cardstock using this Barely Beige ink. And the whole purpose of doing it was to hopefully make it look like a no-line coloring. And it did kind of look like that, but I didn't like the way it really turned out. I mean, I thought it was okay, and I went with it, but it started, it wasn't my favorite, I think, I'd have to say. I went through and colored all of them with my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers in different colors and rainbow color. And I just keep going until I've colored it all. Now once I've moved on to that, I thought I would use this little stencil that came in the kit. This is some balloon stencil, and along with some of the glitter gloss from Gina K, and this is in the color Bubblegum, and I'm putting it over that stencil there. And initially I thought I would use this on the card, but what I realized was it just was too busy. So once it all dried, I went ahead and trimmed it down. And you'll see I put it up against the pattern paper that I had created, and I feel like it was just too busy. So I put it off to the side and decided I'll make an individual card with that itself. Here I went ahead and made a card base out of the blue cardstock that came in the kit. I'm adhering my pattern paper that I made there to it, and I'm bringing in a sentiment that says "Let's celebrate," and I'm just stamping it down in between some of the words. Now previously I had gone ahead and stamped and colored some cupcakes using copic markers, and I will have those copic markers that I used listed down below. I cut them out, fussy cut them out, and I did all that off screen just to save some time, but I'm using those here to embellish the card. And I'm going to bring in a little of this. This is almost like a glossy accents. This was a tube that I got in a Hero Arts kit a long time ago, and it had gotten lost in a bunch of my stuff on my desk, and I just recently found it, so I'm starting to use it again. And I put all of that onto the cherries on top of the cupcakes. I'm going to add some of this rainbow confetti. And that'll do it for that card. Now moving on to the next card, I wanted to use that piece that I made previously using the balloon stencil and the glimmer paste, glimmer glitter paste or whatever from Gina K. And as you can see here, I cut it down. I'm making a 4x4 card. I used some blue cardstock from my stash, cut out a rectangle frame using the pattern paper, along with an inner piece that matches. And I'm putting some double-sided adhesive on the back of the piece that I stenciled on. I'm going to adhere that into the middle. I'm going to bring in a scalloped edge, not scalloped, but a fishtail edge banner here. This is one I'd already had previously cut out. Sometimes I just cut out a bunch of them and I leave them to the side. And this was one of them. And this says, "Happiest birthday to you." I used some VersaFine Onyx Black ink to stamp this. And then I used some clear embossing ink to put over top of it and then heat it up. And that makes it nice and shiny, which I think just adds an additional nice effect. I'm going to go ahead and pop up this sentiment strip and put it onto the front. And that'll be it for this card. Oh, wait, I forgot. I thought it didn't lay real well, so I pulled it off, added a few extra pieces of foam adhesive, and I'm going to remount it back on once I get it the way I like, nice and straight. All right, and that's it. Here's a close-up look. Now moving on to the next couple cards, I wanted to use this art palette die. So I took some of my toner paper, it's peel and stick toner paper that you can use, and I die cut the art palette out from that color palette, and as you can see, I used some of the foil to cut that out, and then I decided I would go ahead and cut out little pieces of the colors also from all the metallic cardstock that came in the kit. So that's kind of what you see. I was cutting it, and then I took it off screen and I cut that using the die. Here I am adhering a piece of the cardstock. This is the white with black stripes pattern paper. I'm adhering it to some of the blue metallic cardstock that came in the kit. Now I cut this 6x6 piece down to 3x3, so I'll actually have, not 3x3, but 3x6, so I'll actually have 2 pieces, and you'll see me use the other half of that in the next card. So here I'm kind of laying it out, seeing how I want everything to go. I'm going to put the sentiment, "It's your birthday," up on top, and then I'm going to use a sentiment that says, "Let's celebrate," down below. And here I can just peel off the sticky back of that, and then go ahead. I'm using not the foil pieces that I had foiled previously, but I'm using instead the metallic colored pieces. As you can see here, I'm having kind of a time getting them to fit in there. And it did take me a little while, but I did finally get them in there, and I won't make you suffer through that. I'll do a couple here, and then I'll move on. There we go. Got it all together. And I thought I didn't need a little something more, so I took some of the stars and the hearts stamps from the stamp set, and I'm just stamping that out. Now here the foil paper kind of looks, I don't know, bright and shiny, but in person it looks really good. And you'll see a close-up here at the end. Alright, so here's the second part of this, or the second card with this. I matted this other piece of paper that I told you I had left over on a piece of the green metallic cardstock. Doing the same kind of layout, and this time I have a black piece of that I cut the palette out of. Again, this is out of Tim Holtz. It's a matte black piece that came out of the metallic cardstock. I have some of my own, so that's what I used. And then I inlaid the foiled pieces. And I'm taking the rounded sentiment that says "Happiest of Birthdays," and I stamped that. And I'm also taking the sentiment that says "It's your special day," or not "It's your," it's that sentiment says "Your special day." And I didn't like how the rounded one stamped. I didn't think it stamped real well, so I'm just using my marker, my black marker here, and I'm just going over that just to make it look a little bit darker. Even though I did stamp it with my VersaFine Onyx Black ink, which usually stamps really well, it didn't seem to stamp as dark as I would have liked. Now I'm going to bring in some of the rainbow confetti and just put a bunch all over the place here. You'll see I put a little bit more than I probably should have. But just adding them wherever I thought it looked good. And that's it. So here's a quick look at both cards. Okay, now I'm moving on, and I'm using this die here. This is, of course, I can't remember the name of the die right offhand, but I will have it listed. And I cut that out of some of the red metallic cardstock. And I also cut it out of some of the red pattern paper. And I'm taking that, I guess it would be considered the negative space, and I'm putting that down, the negative metallic cardstock, putting that down, and I'm inlaying the positives with the matte red pattern paper. As you can see here, I'm just putting it all together here. Because I did cut both pieces, I do have an extra set, and of course you know I hate to waste anything, so I will be using the opposites of that in the next card. Now I decided to bring in some of the stickers here. And I'm just kind of laying them out. I didn't know what to do with these stickers. They really aren't something I would use regularly, and I wasn't real pleased with how it, I just put 2 per square there, and again, it was okay. I think a little kid might like it. But again, I didn't have anything else to do with these stickers, as I probably wouldn't use them. So I just kind of randomly put all different kinds here on, some hearts, some rainbows, dogs, cats, that kind of thing. I'm going to use a sentiment that says happiest birthday to you. Again, I'm going to put that onto a pre-made banner, or a fishtail banner on each end thing that I'd already cut out of some white paper. I thought it was a little bit too short, but I went with it. And I decided to go over it with my black glitter pen here. These are from KRAFT, just to kind of give it a little bit of sparkle. I'll pop that up with some foam adhesive. Put that right in the center. And that's going to be it for that card. And here's a close-up look. Now here is where I'm going to use the opposite pieces. I'm going to get the pattern paper red one, adhere down the frame, and I'll inlay with the red metallic cardstock. Again, that was the metallic cardstock that came in the kit. Just going to inlay each section. And then I'm going to bring in, I wanted to use this shaker piece that's in the shape of a balloon. Now you get 2 in the kit. One of mine had a crease in the middle, so I decided I didn't think I'd use it. So I'm using one that didn't. I went ahead and took the adhesive backing off, put some of the confetti in there, and then just put a piece of the solid pattern paper on the back, and I'm just cutting around the edge. Obviously I did a bad job there, so I'm having to fill it in, and get a little piece there, trying to see if I can get 2 on them. And as you can see, I went ahead and cut out, colored and cut out Happy Birthday previously. all in the rainbow color. Went ahead and adhered that flat down onto the card base using some glue, and I had made a ribbon there out of some twine from my stash. Adhered that with a glue dot. Then put some foam adhesive onto the happy birthday and adhered that to the card base. Now I don't have a string coming down. My balloon looks like it's just kind of floating there, but I kind of went with it. Didn't want to go back and put one on there. I am going to add here some other of the confetti gems or the confetti pieces here onto the cardstock, just randomly. And that'll be it for this card. Here's a quick look. Now moving on, I wanted to use this die, this little Let's Celebrate die. This was a very finicky die, so I had initially cut it out of some metallic blue cardstock that I had stuck onto the Sizzix foam adhesive pad that I had gotten in the kit. Tried to cut that out and it just fell apart. It was kind of a mess. So I'm redoing it here. I'm cutting the shadow out of some black cardstock using the blue adhesive, not the blue metallic cardstock here, trying to get it adhered by just kind of putting it there and pushing it through. That doesn't work, so I wind up taking it out of the die. There you go, and then kind of layering it down. It's a very fine die cut, you can see, and a little bit finicky to work with. It doesn't come out in a full piece, it comes out in a couple different pieces, but I was able to get it to work. And I got that, and I'm kind of showing you the other one, which was a huge mess, and decided not to use that. Cut down a piece of the pattern paper with the rainbow polka dots. I'm going to adhere the Let's Celebrate onto the front of the card in the landscape fashion, and then some more of the happy birthday that I had colored and cut out. I'm just adhering on there using some foam adhesive. I'm going to go over that with my Nuvo Glimmer glitter pen. And then of course I'll put some more of the rainbow confetti scattered throughout. And that's it for that card. It's a fairly simple design. Now here I am taking the MFT Radiating Rays stencil, and I have put that down onto a piece of Bristol Smooth cardstock, and I am ink blending around it in a rainbow formation. And the colors that I'm using are Schoolhouse Red, Hot Lips, Hollyhock, Pale Blush Pink. I'll move on to Burnt Orange, Sunshine, and Duckling. Then I'll move on to Laurel Green, Scuba, and Spring Rain. Then Deep Sea, Audrey Blue, Wisteria, and Lavender. I'll just go around making the colors in a rainbow formation, and I am using, these are my blending brushes. These are not from any craft company. I actually bought them off of Amazon. They're a generic brand. They work just fine. I like the colored handles, and they were fairly cheap, so it's fine for me. And as you can see, I am just ink blending all around. I'll pull up the stencil. I really liked how that blended out. I'm going to take the Sentiment that has the rays coming out from the side, but I didn't want the rays to stamp, so I'm masking them off here. I'm going to ink it up with my VersaFine Onyx Black ink, and I'm going to stamp it down, and this says, "Wishing you a sweet birthday." And it stamped pretty well, but I wanted to stamp it a little bit better, so I'm remasking those rays, and I'm going to re-stamp it. There we go. And I'm going to cut that down a little bit. I am going to mat that onto a piece of, initially I thought I'd use that Audrey blue cardstock. You can even see me cutting it down here, but it looked okay. But eventually you'll see me come in with this purple cardstock. This is just some cardstock from my stash. I made it into a card base. Oh, and what you saw right there was I did spray a little bit of shimmer spritz, sparkle spritz onto this, and I heat dried it just because I was impatient. I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to the purple card base, and it's a little bit short here, which I will fix because the card base is A2 size. I'm going to adhere some more of those cupcakes that I had previously colored and cut out. Just going to add a little stem for the cherries. Bring in some shimmer pen. I'll add a couple of the rainbow confetti pieces. And then I'll decide that I didn't like that there was that much purple on each end, so I'll go ahead and do just a little bit of trimming. Trim both edges. Add a little bit of that glossy accent or glossy something to the cherries there. And that will be it. I really liked how that card turned out. Alright, so moving on to my last card here. I'm taking 2 pieces of pattern paper and I'm putting the pattern paper with the clouds in the center and matting that on the side with some other blue pattern paper. And I'm taking some of this Love from Lizzie peel off strips. Now these are new to me. This is the first time I've ever used it. I really do like the way it adds a nice clean edge to your card. Nice border. Really liked it. Pretty blue color there. I'm going to adhere all of that onto the card base. And I'm going to take the image of the cloud with the star and the party hat that I had previously colored and cut out, and put that on there, or kind of put that where I think I would want it. I'll stamp using the sentiment that says happy, happy, happy birthday. I'll add some shimmer with my white glue pen, white gel pen. Go ahead and adhere this onto the front using some foam adhesive, and then I bring in this little pom-pom. I had some colored pom-poms from another Simon Says stamp kit, and I decided to bring in the blue one here. I'm going to add some shimmer pen to the star. bring in some Nuvo clear gel here, just to add some shine. Again, this is another product very similar to Glossy Accents. And that's it for that card. Alright, here's the final look of all of my cards that I made. Thank you so much for sticking with me and watching this video today. Sorry it took so long to get these cards out to you. I feel like I can make these fairly quickly, but it just takes me a while as far as getting the video edited and voiceover, that kind of stuff. So hopefully I'll get better over time with that. But I appreciate you sticking with me and watching this video. If you like the cards today, feel free to give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do so, as I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you again next time.